Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're doing something I said I would never do, and that's set up a goldfish aquarium in my basement. Now there's a few reasons historically that I've avoided doing this, one of which is that my baseroom's kept pretty warm. That being said, the tank way back in the corner where I used to keep the shellies has been staying pretty cool, which is one of the reasons I broke down that aquarium to move the shellies into their own breeding aquariums. Now, if you're new here, you may not know that last summer when doing my summer tubbing, I somehow managed to hatch goldfish eggs from a plant order that I did. And I got 2 surviving baby goldfish, which have been living in a tub on the floor of my fish room all winter long. And until I can have some sort of permanent solution for them in my yard, I think it's a good idea to upgrade them to a 75-gallon. Now, if you've been around for a while, you also know that I used to have what I called my retirement community aquarium, and we turned that into my 75-gallon sand tank, but it was basically a tank of misfit fish, leftovers from previous import orders, fish that didn't sell, one-offs, etc. And within the aquarium were some barbs. Now, when I set up my sand aquarium, I didn't want to add barbs to that aquarium, so they've been living in a 10-gallon aquarium, which is far from ideal. In fact, it would be better if I had more of each of the species in there, but I have 3 Odessa barbs and 2 clown barbs, and my thought process is maybe we can build a goldfish community. Now, I am not a goldfish expert, but I do know that there's a few things that we have to consider. Will the temperature ranges match? Well, both Odessa barbs and clown barbs like things on the cooler side, so they'll do great in the aquarium with the goldfish. We need to think about if the goldfish can eat them or if they can eat the goldfish. Neither of them can do that. Now, barbs do have a reputation to be sort of nippy, but the species of goldfish that I have don't have particularly flowing fins, and I think we'll be okay. Of course, should there be a problem, I always have a lot more aquariums where I can move things if they need to be separated. Now, the aquarium's going to be a really simple setup. You see, when setting up a goldfish aquarium, you don't want any decor that can damage them. So I didn't want to use any particularly rough stones or anything like that. What I did is I took a big piece of bogwood and some manzanita branches, and I basically put the biggest stump outside of the water so that it could support some plants that I want to grow, specifically a hibiscus. And then I put some of the manzanita branches underwater to provide some cover for fish should they need the ability for a timeout, but also to tie that lump of wood above the water to the aquarium so that it makes a bit more sense. I put in some pool filter sand as I didn't want to use gravel because I don't want the goldfish to eat it and potentially get impacted, as they do explore with their mouths almost constantly. Other than that, I just left it mainly open water. I threw in the floaters from the tub that they were in previously, and we'll see how it goes. Now, it's entirely possible, knowing me, that I will go way further with the design of this aquarium. I may even try some underwater plants in there, though historically goldfish have a reputation for eating a lot of them. That being said, I do have quite a lot of sizable anubias in my fish room that I could try, as well as some other more durable plants. We could also go the route where I could try some synthetic plants or silk plants. Let me know down in the comments what you think I should do. So this is the next morning. I decided to just toss in some anubias and bulbitis just to see how they do with it. I noticed right off the bat that the clown barbs were paying particular interest to the smaller brown goldfish. So I wanted to provide just a few more hiding spaces for them. And since I have so many plants, I wasn't at all worried that if these guys decide to munch on them, I can always pull them out and try synthetic or fake plants at that time. So far, a day in, everyone seems to be settling in really well. The orange goldfish has really become very outgoing. Another thing I noticed right away, and something to take into consideration when you're trying to design a community, is sort of the aggressiveness of feeding. And in this case, the barbs definitely are the more aggressive feeder. But goldfish in general kind of lackadaisical and are perfectly content to just go through and sift the sand on the bottom of the aquarium in order to get their food. Now, again, the orange one is a bit more adventurous, but it tends to let the barbs pick the food apart for it to then clean up later. So far, so good, though. Every time that little brown goldfish comes out, the clown barbs have something to say about it and they explore. So it's possible I may end up having to pull them out later. I'm also considering looking into like a mid-sized cool water loach for this aquarium to add some more activity. It is a 75 gallon and everything's full grown but the goldfish. But as they put on size, this tank may be close to stocked. I may give it a try. You know, eventually the goldfish will be moving into a pond if I ever get one built. And so I could always have this just be a cool water aquarium. I also would like to add a few more of each of the barb species because I think that they would be less interested in the goldfish if they had more of their own kind. This is a pretty good example of why stocking numbers are recommended though. Now the 3 Boy Odessa barbs, the red guys, are pretty just actively engaged with each other, but the 2 clown barbs just don't seem able to settle down, constantly darting all over the aquarium. And that might be why they have so much interest in this little guy here. But all in all, so far, so good. I'm sort of excited to watch this one develop. This tank is very, very different from me. I've never had an aquarium that was so light on hardscape and design other than Captain Cranky Pants and the big boys. And these are all more of your conventional size fish. So it's sort of interesting to see. If you guys know of any good loach species that you would recommend, that's a cool water species that you think would do well in here, let me know down in the comments. Anyway, make sure you subscribe with that notification bell on so you can have updates on this project as well as all the others going on in the fish room. And thanks as always for your continued support.